Well, if I look like this, it can only mean one thing. It's turtle time. Hey, movie fans, so I just got back from seeing Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Mutant Mayhem. Now, as you can clearly tell, I'm a huge Ninja Turtles fan. I actually grew up with the early 2000s version, just called Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, and then I found the 80s versions later, and then I found the comics after that, so I'm kind of all across the board, but you put anything Ninja Turtles related in front of me, and I will at least check it out. I'm not going to love everything. We saw Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 3, but I will at least check it out. That even includes the Michael Bay movies to varying degrees of success. But now we have our first Ninja Turtles movie in, 7 years? And we're going back to animated. We haven't had a animated Ninja Turtles movie in theater since 2007's TMNT. How does it go this time around? This movie was getting some really, really good hype leading up to it, and all the trailers seemed great. And I'm here to say, as a Turtles fan, it's good. It's good. It is good. I won't go out and say it's the best Turtles movie, but I enjoyed it enough. Like, I've seen some people, just praising this movie hand over fist, and it's great. It is a very good movie with some issues. Let's be perfectly honest. So let's break down the good, the bad, and we'll bring it back to the good, because this is a very well-made movie that, from a movie perspective, it's really good. As a Turtles movie, I think I'm just being too much of a purist, because there's some parts of it that I kind of rub me the wrong way, that I'm still kind of processing how I feel about it, but I'm also kind of giving them the benefit of the doubt of how you're going to explain certain assets in future movies. But the positives. As the case with any Ninja Turtles movie, you have to get the core cast of 4 Turtles right, and then kind of go from there. This movie really focuses on the teenage part of the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles to great success. Naturally, Raph is my favorite. Always has been, always will be. But the gap between the characters and how much I like or dislike them is so minimal in this compared to previous versions. I love all 4 of them in this one, but they all still have their unique quirks and identity, and also I like the design choice on this. I was very critical of the Michael Bay ones of, here, let's just put all the stuff on them, especially Donnie, so that way we don't actually have to worry about writing. People could just, look with their eyes at what their personality may or may not be. You can tell what their personalities are, but the designs still work. The good litmus test for me of if the design works for a turtle is, if you take off the mask and desaturate the colors, can you still tell who that is? The Turtles themselves are great. It was a great choice to use younger, unknown voices, so when I see these characters, I just see and hear the character, not some celebrity voice. But the voice acting isn't just good from the Turtles. There's a lot of celebrities in this, to varying degrees of success. If you're going into this movie for the celebrities, don't. They're utilized the appropriate amount, but they're not utilized a ton. However, Ice Cube as Superfly is surprisingly great. He is having so much fun as the main villain in this movie. I just love what the performance that he gives. It's a little bit of I like you, but when he turns on the sinister, it's evil and it's menacing and it's a lot of fun. He is going 110%. On the flip side, though, if there's one voice actor that I was just going, oh, all around this performance is a little interesting to me, and that is Jackie Chan as Splinter. I've been on record saying I was very excited for this, and I don't think voice acting wise, Splinter was not necessarily bad, but a lot of the time you just hear Jackie Chan's voice and not so much Splinter, which brings me to one of my biggest negatives. I really don't like Splinter in this movie. Without delving too much into spoilers, there's quite a few lore changes from both the comic and from the various TV shows. Some I chalk up to not that big of a deal. Others I'm very curious to see the ramifications of in future movies because of deliberate choices, and other times I think it kind of takes away from the established Turtles, what we know and love about them, that I'm kind of going, well, if this isn't the case here, then I don't know if I feel as strongly about this thing. Again, it's hard to go into without spoilers, but it's still really well done for the most part as a movie, but as a Turtles purist, I guess I'm just kind of nitpicky. I like what I like with the Turtles, and I think there's certain parts of the canon that you really shouldn't mess with, but I give them props for being bold and making certain decisions in this movie that I'm going, wow, I'm very curious to see where that's going to go. Others, I already don't think we're off to the right foot with certain other elements, but we'll leave it there. Now, this might not necessarily be a negative for everyone, and it wasn't necessarily a negative for me. It's just something to be cognizant of with the Ninja Turtles. With the concept as crazy as Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, there's a lot of different routes you can go with it. You can go with the more dark and mysterious side with like the mutant ninja side, or you can go with the more comedic side with like the Teenage Turtles side of it. And this definitely leans more towards the comedic side of the Turtles, like the 2012 Nickelodeon series, which apparently is massively popular. That's the one incarnation that I never really checked out. I think I just kind of aged out of the Turtles at the time, and it was also around the same time as Michael Bay, so my interest wasn't necessarily the most peaked. Suppose that's got a wide fan base. This movie will also create new Turtles fans. This is geared towards kids, and that is a good thing. Just because this isn't the specific type of turtle storytelling that I prefer, doesn't mean it's not great for other people. I just didn't like it as much as some other turtle stories that I have watched on TV or read in the comics. It's fine. This will create new Turtles fans, and in that regard, I'm very, very happy. This is just closer to the 2012 animated series than the 2002 animated series that I grew up on, which kind of, I think, balanced the humor and the dark a little bit better. This is a lot more humor than anything else. Now, granted, I like a lot of this humor. I think it's really, really funny when it wants to be. I think the movie's at its strongest when it's just the four turtles bouncing off each other. Their chemistry just right off the bat is so natural, and it feels like actual brothers. It is so much fun and dynamic there. But it's not necessarily a turn off. Just know that this is a very funny movie, and that's a good thing for most people. And for the most part, it worked for me. I know some people will take that as well, this movie was too comedic. You went into a movie called Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Mutant Mayhem. Make of that what you will. But getting back to some positives to close this thing out, I know a lot of people have been comparing this art style to like the Spider-Verse style, more like that hand-drawn look to it, like kind of this revolutionary style. And I guess there's part of that influence here. You can clearly see some Spider-Verse influence, but it's definitely its own style. I think it was Seth Rogen that came out and said, we wanted to make this art style like a kid themselves was drawing it. And I can kind of see that. The art style works for the story that they're telling. It's very goofy and out there, but it's a unique visual look to it, and I think that really, really works. Now, this movie also is not particularly long. It's like an hour and a half, which for a Turtles movie, that's perfect. We need more movies that know how long they're supposed to be. We've kind of gotten to this age of movies where we're just like, oh man, if your movie's not at least 2 hours, 2 hours 15, 2 hours 20, what are you doing with your life? Every once in a while, it's okay for a kid's movie to lean on the shorter side of a runtime. It's an okay thing. And it's okay for a movie to be specifically for kids. It's okay. I think this movie is paced incredibly well. You're just bouncing from action scene to action scene. I think there could have been a little bit more character moments, but overall it flows really, really well. The hour and a half just flies by. It feels like you're watching like 3 episodes of a Ninja Turtles TV series. Now, granted, we are getting a series supposedly of these Turtles before, the sequel comes out and we get whatever we're getting with that. Lastly, for positives, I dug the music on this a lot. Not just the score, but the soundtrack, the songs that they pick. There's definitely some very recognizable needle drops, which sometimes might be a little distracting, but by and large, the music works for this movie. It's a very specific tone that they're going for. It's a lot of fun, but then the actual score itself by Trent Reznor and Atticus Ross, great. Like, you feel it at the right moments. The music plays off the scenes, the pacing, it all just flows together really well. So as a whole, this is a very, very well made and good movie that I just kind of get hung up on some of the more minute details of Turtles lore that I'm going, well, tread carefully going forward. And also, it's not too late to fix certain other aspects in this one. It's just me being a stuck-up Turtles fan. But by and large, this is a good, well-made animated movie targeted more specifically towards kids. And that's all the Turtles have ever been. The Turtles are for kids. Well, after the 80s cartoon. Before that, not for kids. But by and large, Turtles are for kids, and that's an okay thing. What would you guys think? Have you guys seen Mutant Mayhem? Are you excited to see it? Whatever your thoughts, let me know down in the comments below. I like hearing from you guys. And as always, if you like what you see and want to see more, subscribe to the channel. And as always, stay sharp, movie guys and gals.